you would like.
All right, I will call this City Council meeting to order. City Recorder Krager, please call roll.
Councillor Newton.
Here.
Councillor Lube.
Here.
Councillor Anderson.
Here.
Mayor Snyder.
Here.
Youth Councillor Turley. And Council President Goodhouse.
Here.
All right. Thank you for that. Does anyone have any non-agenda items? This special meeting was called for a specific topic, but if there are other agenda items or non-agenda items that people want to discuss, I'm happy to add those to the agenda as well. Otherwise, we'll move on to discussing the state and Washington County plans for reopening. Does anyone have any non-agenda items?
Mr. Mayor, not really a non-agenda item. We're going to talk about it next week, but I'm really happy that our levy passed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think many of us are. It's very, very exciting, and it'll make our budget committee meeting, I think, more fun tonight. Was someone else trying to chime in as well? All right, let's move on to the reason for the meeting tonight. And this probably is not going to take 30 minutes, but I did want to make sure that before I made a decision by ourselves that, or by myself, I should say, that we had a discussion about the following. There is a group of mayors in Washington County, or at least some mayors in Washington County, who are desiring to push the governor to open Washington County sooner than the county is requesting. And they are asking if we as a city, or me as mayor on behalf of the city, want to join that effort. So let me describe kind of what the various points of discussion are right now. The first is that Washington County, we expect, will submit their reopening request and plan tomorrow. And different groups of mayors, or certain mayors in Washington County, have some of them have discussed requesting the governor open Washington County or approve the request on the same day it's received. So that's one group of thought, I should say. Second group of thought is to request that she open or approve Washington County to open on Tuesday, May 26th, right after the holiday. Another group is talking about asking her to approve May 29th, which would be Friday, which would be 1 week or seven days after the plan was originally submitted, which is kind of in line with the way many of the other counties went. And then there are some who think that the June 1st date that Washington County has said that they plan to request is the right timing. And this was just not something I felt comfortable. This is a big enough deal and a complex situation from both a health and safety perspective, applying and pushing for the right amount of speed, but also balancing with the potential political capital that we may be expending by pushing for this. I also don't, I think that the timing that I could personally defend the most would be pushing for Friday, May 29th, but I'm not sure I can understand why it would be worth pushing so hard for the difference between May 29th and June 1st. Just seems on the surface kind of maybe a fight we don't need to have with the county, for example. So this is the entirety of what I know. I can tell you that the mayor that's coordinating all this is very curious about what our decision is going to be, and we do not have decision or direction from either Beaverton or Hillsborough. So kind of the three big cities in Washington County, or bigger cities in Washington County, haven't really weighed in on this point. So a number of the smaller cities have sort of bantered back and forth. But let's go to, if we can, get other people's input. Councillor Newton, let's go to you first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a similar thought to you. I would be a little concerned opening too soon, and then there might be confusion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'd rather have clarity. It seems like what's been happening is the Friday, that it takes about a week, maybe it takes a little less time. But why is the county, is there a reason they feel like they need that extra weekend? Is there a reason the county is asking for June 1st, or do we know?
I have not received information that tells us why they're selecting June 1 over May 29th. I mean, they were originally not planning to apply until the mayors put quite a bit of pressure on them to apply absolutely as soon as they could possibly meet the objective. Some have said that they think the county could have applied earlier this week. I think nitpicking 1 day or 2 days is kind of over the top a little bit, but I also am very sensitive to the business community's desire to open safely, absolutely as fast as they can. So that's why I think this is a difficult balance.
Well, and so, I mean, I don't know if it's worth pushing to have them open the day they receive the application. So, I mean, I guess my expectation, let me put it this way, my expectation is that it shouldn't take any longer than it has to review the other proposal, especially since they only have one. I mean, they reviewed, what, 28 in a week or something? So I don't think it should take any longer. So I would hope we could open by Friday the 29th, you know, maybe a day or two earlier. But I don't know, unless there's a reason to push, because in the balance of people being confused, also making sure we have everything clear in terms of the public health issues. I don't know that it's worth pushing them to the 27th or the 28th if it takes till the 29th. So I would prefer as early as possible. But I don't know that it's worth fighting for a day or two. But I am curious as to why they're saying June 1st. That I'm curious about that. And I know you don't know, but I'm curious about that.
Councillor Anderson?
Well, definitely not this Friday. That would be crazy. You know, I talked to two business owners downtown here today, and they said, "Hey, June 1st, we're excited to open." So, I mean, they're planning on that. I think there's getting their staff aligned for, you know, the bars and restaurants might want to get it open for the rest. So the 29th would be okay. But why don't we just say as soon as Washington County gets it done?
Okay. I mean, the question is, do we want to partake in some letter that pushes for sooner than the county may be requesting? I mean, that's the question on the table, and it sounds like your answer is no to that.
No, I don't think so.
Councillor Lube?
My questions and comments would be very similar to Councillor Newton's. I agree that I think, you know, balancing with the business community, we certainly want it open as quickly as possible. But I think for communication purposes and just making sure there's a clear date and time and procedure, I know the chamber is working hard to get information on how to open safely back out there. And I don't see us needing to participate in pushing to have it open, especially not tomorrow. It's way too soon, and that would be way too much chaos. So the difference between the 29th and 1st, I'm sensitive to it, but I don't see the need to argue for it for a couple of days for that reason.
Council President Goodhouse?
I'm gonna differ a little. I think businesses have been preparing to get up, and they have a lot of the things in line. I would either propose, I mean, as soon as possible, either tomorrow or making it Monday or something like that, with businesses over the weekend be able to get their businesses ready. But I say sooner the better. Businesses have been waiting. A lot of them have been getting their restaurants or businesses or things in order for this. And so it's just a matter of how quickly some of them get the word or not. I mean, it might happen, but some may not hear about it and might not hear about it till next week. But I would say as soon as it gets put in, that have them open, and they're gonna have to follow the requirements anyways. So
I guess I want to be clear about what we're talking about. We're literally talking about us signing on to or writing a letter to the governor that requests that you do something different than what the county's requesting. There's no belief necessarily that she's even going to do that. First of all. Second of all, Monday's a holiday, and I really doubt that we're going to get approval for an opening on a day when the most employees, at least that it would be in the approval process, are not even working. I want to make sure we're clear on what we're talking about. We're not making a decision that's going to result in an opening or not opening on Monday or tomorrow. Like this would be literally a letter advocating for a certain position. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think then you would just to maybe sum up what we're saying is to encourage it to be open when, expedite it the time they open, that would be a prudent amount of time. We want to do more of a general terms rather than pick a date, saying that when sooner the better, so businesses can get back up and running, or something along the language of that.
Okay, let's go back and see if there's more support for that position than just Council President Goodhouse. Councilor Anderson?
No, I say Washington County do its thing, and we'll abide by that.
Councilor Lube?
My position hasn't changed.
Councilor Newton?
Yeah, my position hasn't changed either. I think we just go with what the county is proposing. I don't know that we should write a separate letter advocating for something else.
Okay, and Youth Councilor Turley, you did not, I don't think she was present for roll call, was she? Is she on the line? I'll just double check now. Okay. So I'm not hearing consensus for us doing anything besides working with the Washington County timeline, and we all have a desire for it to be as soon as possible. And the other thing that I would say is that there are businesses, as Councilor Anderson was talking about, and I've heard from some other mayors that some businesses are like, I'm not going to be ready before that time. Like I need a lot to do. To Council President Goodhouse's point, though, too, businesses that aren't ready can simply not open, right? That's a choice too. So,
Agreed.
I can kind of see both ends of this, because you could give permission for potential opening sooner, and if you're a restaurant or a bar or somewhere where you're just not ready to go for whatever reason, then you're just not open yet. But that doesn't prevent everybody else. So there's no right answer. I guess I also want to make sure everybody's clear. Like, I don't think there's a perfect solution to this, but I did want to talk through it before I was signing us on to some letter to the governor. I wanted to make sure that we had a majority support and what you would support. And just to be clear, the Washington County mayors are kind of divided about this right now. So there are some who have taken the same position as the majority of our city councilors just did. And then there are some who are advocating for tomorrow. So
my only thing is that I know that some have been prepped and ready and are probably ready to go. And like you said, there's a large majority that may not be. And so there's going to be phases of businesses that will go in, and there's others that have been waiting for this at the moment to be able to turn the lights on and go. And a week or a week and a half can make a huge difference for some of these businesses. That's my thought, is that, I don't think there's going to be a big, huge swell of all these businesses coming through. The ones that are ready might just be a few that have already been kind of doing all they can to stay open.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that especially if we were talking about the Monday or the Tuesday, we're talking about a whole week worth of business. But if we're really talking about May 29th, the difference between that and June 1, it starts to be something that I think the confusion, the other factor here is when Clackamas County is proposing opening, and there may be some desire, and I think there is some coordination between Washington County and Clackamas County to try to coordinate on a June 1st opening as well, which is another reason to try to remain consistent. But Clackamas County, with some of its policy making, sometimes is unpredictable. So who knows? I think their election just demonstrated that for chair.
One last thing I'd just like to point out, the only thing I would see just the quick right now would be is that for those few that might be ready to go, there is a 3-day weekend where people might be getting out, and that might be a nice boost to some of the bottom line for some of these businesses that are ready and can do it properly.
Are you talking about for tomorrow opening, or are you talking about for
Memorial Day weekend opening? I mean,
well, John, the application's not even been received, so I guess I just don't. Well, some of the mayors, or at least one mayor, kind of floated that idea. I think they've mostly dismissed that as sort of absurd. I don't know how. Like, what would that mean? Like, the county would turn it in at 5 o'clock, and the governor and OHA would approve it at 5:01. Like, it just doesn't make it. I don't know how that's even workable.
Oh yeah, I didn't know the logistics on that part either. I knew those were just three of the options you threw out. So,
well, that's what was being discussed, but I guess I had dismissed that one out of hand to some extent because of how absurd it was.
Yeah, for Thursday night and then tomorrow, that's no time to implement those. So, yeah, I just stick with mine. As soon as what's feasible that can be done, I think would be prudent for those that are up and ready.
All right. It doesn't sound like we have a majority of council support for that position unless anyone wants to pipe up and have changed their position. Anyone? Okay. Well, I thank you for being willing to have this discussion and giving me direction so we can act in a coordinated way with other cities in the county. That is the end of the agenda for tonight. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Council President Goodhouse, I move for adjournment.
Councilor Newton, I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. City Recorder, please conduct a roll call vote.
Councilor Newton,
Aye, yes.
Councilor Lube,
Yes.
Councilor Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor Snyder,
Yes.
Council President Goodhouse.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks.